Here's some examples on Chapter 5, Lesson 5 in the new algebra book on solving inequalities with absolute value. Okay, so it's just like solving equations with absolute value. To begin with, remember you always set it up. You could have two answers because this answer could be a negative or a positive 11 if you after you take the absolute value of it. So you set it up as m plus 2 is less than 11, and then you have to change this to a negative. So if you change that to a negative, you must also flip the sign. It's like multiplying by a negative number, or a negative 1. So you must flip the sign. So you're going to say m plus 2 is greater than negative 11. Okay, so then you're going to write, or then you're going to solve it just like any other thing. You're going to subtract 2. M is less than 9. And then you're going to subtract 2. And you get m is greater than negative 13. Now the sets that they're going to write, I'll accept this as an answer, but the answers they're going to write is the set of m, okay, where m is in the center, and m, in this case, is less than 9, and m is greater than negative 13. We usually put the smaller number first, okay? So the m is bigger than negative 13, and the m is less than 9. And then they'll put a bracket. So this is the answers they're going to look like. I will accept answers like this, okay? But then it says to also graph it, graph the solution. So we have a number line. We need our negative 13, and our 0, and our 9, okay? Now in this case, it's going to be an open circle. So it says that n is greater than 13, so it's a focus circle at 13. It's going this way. Maybe I should put it forward just so you can see this, okay? And then this one is an open circle as well. So we're going to put an open circle here, and it's m is less than 9, so it's all these numbers in between negative 13 and 9. That's how you would graph it. Okay? Alright, let's do this one. Same thing. Except, I'm going to look at this little negative number right here. Okay? The absolute value of something is going to be a positive number. So let's just pretend it's negative 3 here. The absolute value of that is 3. Is 3 less than negative 2? No. Is 3 ever going to be less than negative 2? No. Let's say it was negative 107. The absolute value of that is 107. Is that less than negative 2? No. Never. Never, never, never. No solution. This is never possible. Okay? You can never have an absolute value that is less than a negative number. Okay? Never going to happen. Okay, here we have an absolute value that is greater than negative 5. When is that going to happen? Always. It's always going to be happening. Because if this absolute value is going to be, let's say this was negative 6, just say 0, r was 0. So negative 6, take the absolute value, 6 greater than or equal to negative 5? Always. Okay, no matter what you're going to do, you're always going to get a positive number here. Therefore, it's always going to be bigger than negative 5. So this is many solutions. Okay, and if we were to graph it on the number line, it's the whole number line. Always, always, always. Okay? Alright, so let's solve this one. It's a little bit more two-stepper. Okay, so we're going to have 3n plus 6 is greater than or equal to 12. And we're going to write it as 3n plus 6 is less than or equal to, because we're flipping the sign, negative 12. Okay, two-step equation says you subtract first. So you get 3n is greater than or equal to 6 divided by 3. So n is greater than or equal to 2. Same here, subtract 6. So 3n is less than or equal to negative 18 divided by 3. So n is less than or equal to negative 6. Okay, and we're going to graph it on a number line. So we have our 0, we have our negative 6, we have our 2. This time it's closed circle. Let me switch colors here. Closed circle at negative 6. And it says n is less than negative 6. So that means smaller than negative 6. This one's also a closed circle. So here's a closed circle. It says n is greater than 2. So it's that way. So that is the answer to our problem over here. Okay? So we don't have a combined, they're separate from each other. Okay? And if I were to write these answers, there's one answer, you write it like this. N, okay, the set of n, where n is greater than or equal to 2, and n is less than or equal to negative 6, just like that. Okay? Alright, now let's do a problem where